evening. Thank you all for showing up tonight. It's kind of a nasty night, but it's nice in here. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The agenda is approved. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting, which was way before the holidays?
Motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Motion, sorry. I forgot, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here reading.
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Let's move on to the director's report. Parks update.
All right. Thank you, and welcome back. I hope everybody had a good holiday and all of that. I hope you enjoyed your Christmas, and wish everyone a Happy New Year. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight, obviously, about the last couple of months, and for the Parks Department, the last couple of months have been decorations, and then a little bit more of decorations. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. We had, Susan had a Winterfest event this year, and during that event, we did a lot of setup for her for that day with tents and chairs and tables, and we were the group that ran the hay rides this year, which our hay rides were a little different this year, but a little longer route, but obviously very popular ride. We're also the people, we had 14 staff members working that day, so we handled all the snow, putting it out, and if you were interested, there were 36 tons of snow put out that day. It's a lot of, and really, what are we saying when we say that? We're making snow out of ice, and that's not an easy job. It's a very labor-driven job, but we were able to get that out for the people at the event to do sledding. Even on the hayride, there was some. And obviously, we're in charge with Susan's staff of doing a lot of the cleanup that evening. In between the beginning and just barely the end of that night, and I'm sure Stephen or Susan will talk about this a little bit, is we had the tree lighting that evening, and obviously I'll let her get into some of that as she shares some of the Winterfest factoids with you as she gets going. If you were wondering, we put up this year 245 pole decorations. So when I use the term pole decorations, those would be the things that you see on light poles, power poles on Highway 17.
Snowflakes and candy canes.
Snowflakes and candy canes, those things, right? Shooting stars, all of those things. 245 of them. That's not our record, but that's a lot. That just doesn't go up overnight. We had lighting at the gateway signs this year, and as well as at the Freedom Fountain. The Freedom Fountain really looked good this year. It looks good every year. It's hard for that area not to look good, but we lit it up this year a little differently, and we thought it looked really well, did really well. And hopefully some of you have noticed the steps were taken on the 17 corridor there by the bypass. To be honest with you, we got a lot of comments last year about it, and we really didn't do much out there last year. But we took some steps this year to go a little further, as we try and do every year, and got a very good response from the public about what they saw out there. They really liked what we were doing out there. To put things in perspective, if you notice, there was a Happy Holiday sign out there. Mm-hmm. And when you drive by, I always joke about the pole decorations. They're 6 foot. They don't look like 6 foot when you're driving 45 miles an hour down the road. That sign out there is 35 foot long, 8 foot high.
Wow.
But when you drive by it, it probably looks like a 3x5 sign out there, and I get it, but it's actually a much larger sign than you would think.
I drove by when you were putting it out.
Yeah.
So I saw how
You
big
saw
it was.
the-
I saw everybody out there trying to get it situated.
Manage it, yeah.
And I thought to myself, I've never seen that before. It was new, obviously, but it looked fantastic.
Thank you so much. One of the other things we do as a Parks Department this year, we had our 4th annual, we call it our Santa event. So 3 nights this year on the 17th, 19th, and 20th, which was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we have a little Santa event down at Riverwalk Park. And we don't heavily advertise it because it's not the type of event that we could handle, the type of crowds we get at the Winterfest or the Jacksonville Jamborees. We do advertise it, but we do it at the last minute, and we kind of let word of mouth lead it. We put a little of it out on Facebook, but my biggest nervousness about that event is it's going to be too many people that end up showing up. We've been lucky. We've had really good crowds every year. This year was no different. If you've never been down there, it is a nice little event. We provide hot chocolate. We provide candy canes. The park is lit up, and we have Santa there. We have Mrs. Claus there, and generally, if not me, our staff will take pictures. If you have your phone with you, that's generally what people do in today's world, is take pictures with their cell phones, and we'll be happy to take a picture of you and your family with Santa. And the tree is the background. It's really a nice event, and people are really appreciative of it. Behind the tree, we set up a little bit of a walking path so people can walk through the decorations and actually see what's out there and get close to them. And by doing that, that discourages them, especially the kids, from running out there and stepping and breaking a lot of the bulbs, which that's why we have a path now, because we didn't do that the first year, and we learned a very good lesson that they want to go out there. We need to create a path for them now. And that has worked out really well for us, and it looks like that's worked out really well for the public. So I wanted to share some of that with you. Some other things I wanted to share with you. We have continued, I think I've talked to you about the split rail fencing at the Commons, and previously we've done it at the Commons and Woodlands Park. We used to have the wooden split rail fence out there, and we have transitioned into the white vinyl split rail. It's a little bit more updated look, and we're in the middle of doing that to a lot of our parks. We did that down at Northeast Creek, so if you go down there all the way down towards the boat ramp, you'll see some changes there and what it looks like. So just be aware of that. As time goes by, we'll continue to update the parks as time goes by. We've done some trail maintenance on the rails to trail. We worked hand in hand with FMS to replace boards and railings on the Northeast Creek Bridge part of the trail. We've also done some work at the Richard Ray. We have 2 little boardwalks at Richard Ray Park, one in the front, one near the back. The second one, we replaced all the boards out there. That's a big deal, and that's part of us keeping up with maintenance and keeping things in working condition. If you haven't noticed, we are working hand in hand with the engineering division and other departments in the city as the streetscaping on New Bridge is getting done. One of our responsibilities is the landscaping installation, and as they get an area done, we coming behind them and doing the landscaping. So some of that has already been completed a little further down, but as we continue to move, we'll be out doing that work, because ultimately we're the ones that are going to maintain that. There's a lot of benefit for us to be installers on a lot of the projects that the city does. One, there is a cost savings to the city for us to do that. There's a cost savings in a lot of different ways. First of all, we're not hiring a contractor to do it, so there's cost saving there. The other cost savings, which is hidden sometimes, is, there's going to be problems. Plants are going to die. For us, there's a value in being the installer and maybe knowing why these plants aren't doing well and having that knowledge on the front side instead of trying to figure that out when we didn't know what was going on with the soil or something like that. So there is some value there, and we're happy to do those sort of things. if you haven't been down by the Jacksonville Marina, which is located just past LP Willingham, Kerr Street, Riverwalk Park, we have installed 3 shade structures. Some walkways are in, as well as some ramps that have been installed by the contractor. We're slowly but surely getting that area wrapped up. Hopefully by summer it will be completely finished, and I know Susan will be excited about that. The fact that we have the shade structures out there, and if you weren't aware, we did buy some restroom facilities to put down there, mobile restrooms, so you'll see those become more of a fixture down there as the spring rolls in. So we'll have some bathrooms down there, which are, what, Susan, sorely needed, would you say? Sorely needed. We'll have some restrooms down there, some shade structures, so that's a good thing. And basically, that's where we've been over the last couple of months. And obviously, we're gearing up not only for our budget, but summer's right in front of, I mean, literally, summer is right in front of us. So that's our report.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
I just have a comment that the lights looked wonderful. I mean, I went downtown, drove around Jacksonville. I mean, they were just beautiful.
Nice of you. I will say this, and I think it's important to share this. You know, one of the values in us doing the Santa event is it's one of the few times we're boots on the ground. So we get to interact with the public and that sort of thing. And we had people this year that drive. We had people drive from Wilmington to come down and see it. We had people from Lenore County and Kinston come see it. That was pretty cool for us. We're not a destination. We're not those, it's nice down there, but we're not. But we are a little bit of a destination, and we saw some of that this year from the public saying, hey, we drive to this. We actually like coming down here. This is nice. And that makes you feel good. It makes it worthwhile when you hear those comments that we're doing a good job and doing that right.
So what day do you all start setting up for downtown? What day is it completed?
Well, so it's funny you say that because we have some different timelines. So our pole decorations, our goal will always be to get them up before the Christmas parade. So that's one goal. The next goal is Susan's got Winterfest. Winterfest means tree lighting. So we have to have the tree as well as the park up and decorated. And remember, that's a live tree. So we have to drive to the mountains, pick up the tree, bring it back, put it up, decorate it, as well as get the rest of the park set up. I think down there this year, there was over 350,000 lights. Yeah, over 350,000 lights. That's a lot of lights.
A lot of lights.
It is. And for anybody out in the public wondering, and for the councilwoman here, I want y'all to know this. We're very good about working ahead of time with the power companies. And we don't pay a normal rate because of them being decorations, and we do reach out to them, and they know it's for community good. So I think our electric bill last year was $4,000 for Christmas lights. When you think about having lights on 8 to 10 hours for about 45 days, that's not too bad.
And when do you begin taking them down?
We try to take them down the second. We try and give everybody until the first of the year. So generally it's that second Monday in January. And I think you'll notice we have everything down now. And you know, taking them down, obviously weather can prove that. Sometimes, you know, that's a challenge because it's funny because sometimes we're walking around in December in shorts and then all of a sudden, you know, we get 6 inches of snow. Luckily for us, we got pretty much everything down right before the snow hit. So that we were on the good side of that. Thank you. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The open area by the pier across from the tennis courts, is there plans for anything to go in that spot?
Not to my knowledge, no. That we'd like that to be just an open space area. You're talking about where a lot of the decorations are?
I would assume.
Or are you talking about the marina? That's a good-
Marina, yes.
So the marina,
Parking spots are there, they're right across the street.
so if you haven't noticed, that's something I was talking about a couple of minutes ago. I would encourage you to ride down there in the next week or two. You will see, you've been by Jack Amyette and seen the shade structures. We've installed 3 of them down there now. We also have a pad over there for some mobile restrooms. And then there's going to be another shelter built over there over the next couple of months.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir. Great question.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, so obviously Michael definitely gave me a good lead-in. We had a great winter season of events. We couldn't do it without, the Parks crew. They are our workhorse of guys that really just make everything so worthwhile. Obviously, my team works hard with all the logistics and making things like that be seamless and well executed. That's our goal for our citizens. But Winterfest certainly is something we're certainly proud of. We have, moved the tree lighting to the end of the night, and it just really ties everything in together. The tree lighting went off without a hitch, thank you. Yes, I know, it was chilly. It was a chilly day, but it was good for the snow, and then the flotilla follows up. So I think it's a really well-rounded. We had a great turnout, tons of vendors. So Winterfest on that Saturday was a great success. We also had a great weekend at the Commons with the Artisan Market. We partner with the Crystal Coast Crafters Guild, and she does a phenomenal job of getting all handmade crafters there, and they operate Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's a nice, well-rounded, good event for all types of people that want to do some shopping, they want the entertainment downtown, and we ran a shuttle between the two. And the shuttle this year exceeded our expectations, so people are cluing in on, make it smarter for you to park at the Commons and ride a bus downtown, and then, make it so you're not fighting and looking for a parking spot. So we know it's a little bit of a challenge down there. So it was a great event. We followed up the next weekend with our senior social at the Commons that next Saturday. Thank you, Ms. Edwards, for coming out and representing council members. But that's a great event that we open up to our senior citizens, and we have about 200 plus come out to that. So they love it. They get dressed up. They're wearing all their holiday regalia, and it's just a nice luncheon. It's a way for us to appreciate them and appreciate their support of us and our program. So that one's a good one. But we did several other smaller programs. Obviously, the kids were out of school. We did lots of things with, Santa and breakfast and toddlers, and just a good, well-rounded holiday season. So we were glad December, we celebrate well in advance as a staff, because the month of December is just a blur for us. It's almost just, you go from a busy winter season to a very busy summer season. So speaking of winter, we are in the very much, I would say, in the middle of our basketball season. Another good season for us. We are 50 plus youth basketball teams playing all over the place. So we have all of our youth programs are playing in all of the middle schools, plus Jack Amyette and the Commons. So everything's going really well for our youth basketball. We did start registration today for spring sports. So volleyball, baseball, and softball registration started today. And I think by the time Megan and I got in this morning, there was already a handful of people, because we open up our office at 7 in the morning, and she had already done several registrations by 8 a.m. So we're off to a good start with our spring sports. We're certainly working really closely with the Ospreys, and we are trying to foster that baseball locally. I think it's really going to be a good partnership, because they're going to do some more camps this year. Now that they know what their season was like last summer, they're really kind of trying to even engage more of the community into their baseball and what they're offering to the community. So we're excited about some ways we can just keep fostering that relationship, and obviously making them successful on our fields is just a great win-win for all of us. So we're excited about that. Couple of events coming up. This Sunday we have our I believe it's our 21st annual African American Read-In. It's a great event. It's a great opportunity for us to, celebrate what our month of February represents. We're able to do that, which is February is this Gosh, it's already here, isn't it? I just realized that, so February is here, and we want to celebrate African Americans History Month, and so we will be having that event 2 o'clock at Jack Emiette, and the kids work really hard on that. We have kids from all of our after-school programs that will recite and perform different works of art from African American, either across the board, performers, entertainers, songwriters, writers, literary artists, you name it. So we're excited about that. That's always just a really nice event. If anybody wants to come out and check Emiette, 2 o'clock on Sunday, I certainly encourage you to do that. And then pickleball is always in our, I guess, winter month of February. So registration has been open. We have one more week of that. And numbers right out of the gate were really strong. And so it's just and every year I talk about this tournament, but every year I'm always just shocked how many people we have, upwards of 200 pickleball players, competing on a weekend of just going at it with this sport all for the fun of dinking around, but they're competitive and they have a great time. And so if you just want to see something different or curious about what it's all about, for those of you who don't already know, feel free to come out that weekend. We're certainly excited about that. I wanted to mention, I mentioned some of our partnerships, and it's certainly important to us. We've got some new things on the horizon. We work really closely with the Tourism Development Authority, and so we today have a stage that was delivered, a mobile stage delivered to the Commons. We're very excited. It's one of those things where we rent a stage every time we have our bands and our entertainment, and so we realize that you really just, at this point, that's going to be a trajectory that we want to keep providing. And so we're thrilled that the TDA was able to support the purchase of a mobile stage. And so we got that delivered today. It got unwrapped, it got inspected, and we have training on it next week. So we're really excited about that opportunity and having it under our umbrella so that we can just continue that entertainment piece for our citizens. So it's going to be ours, and we're going to support all the efforts in the TDA and those events. So we'll see how it goes. So we're excited. But they also support, I want to mention, we have new scoreboards at the Commons. I think I got a text, from Mr. Hinkle that he was at the Commons and he saw new scoreboards. They helped us purchase that. And they're also purchasing a newer, bigger, better scoreboard at Jack Emiette Ball Field. So it'll be right now I would say we would have out there as more of a youth scoreboard, but this one's going to be much nicer and much larger. So this summer you won't have to what? It's going to be a nice large scoreboard at Jack Emiette. So I can't appreciate what TDA does for us and our support of any of their efforts, and it works really great because we are able to do some things in furthering that cause of what can we do to offer to not just our citizens but people that are visiting from out of the area. So it's a great opportunity. Other than that, I think I just wanted to mention that we certainly, Megan has done a good job. We're trying to make our information a little bit more, I don't want to say relevant, but maybe a little bit quicker to get in everybody's hands. So we've just taken a little bit more of a casual approach to telling people what we have every 2 months in a brochure sort of guide. So feel free to take a look at that. It has a lot more of the details, a lot more of the programs, and her goal is to put that out every 2 months, just kind of let's get this out there so people just can kind of keep in mind what we have going on. So these are not our static per se, but our ongoing programs and activities. And then the goal is still to put out a little bit more of a solid brochure that talks about our parks and our shelter reservations and all of those things when it gets closer to the spring and summer months. But we just wanted to kind of roll this out and make you all aware of this. So we're doing good stuff. Yeah. Any questions for me?
What are the dimensions of your mobile stage?
I do know this answer. I believe it has extensions on it. I want to say it's 24 by 20, but it can go up to 20 by 36. I'll get back to you. Okay. We purchased extenders out to it, so it'll go farther out, not longer necessarily.
It's a transformer.
It's a transformer.
It is.
So when you say it's mobile, is it like on a tractor that it's
on
a trailer?
wheels. It's on a trailer.
And then you set it, and then the extensions go on.
And it's all hydraulic. Again, we have training on it. It's a 3-day training, and we get certified on it, but it's a 3-day training we have next week. So we'll know more after.
8 hours a day training.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal. It's not just a.
Yeah.
Well, we used to have one aboard the base. MCCS used to have one. And then because it was so hard to move, we couldn't lend it out anymore.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yours was a little bit of a different setup. I want to say yours was actually probably larger. Yours was like on a semi-truck
Yeah.
size, and it was actually like the size of a semi-truck. Ours is a little bit more compact. It folds down and folds in, and then it opens up, and then the extenders come out. So I'm not sure. I know yours was a great big one, though.
I was just curious. I was just curious.
I remember that one
because-
because I used to use it.
Yes, and we haven't used it in a long time.
You still have it?
I don't even know if we still have it. I think we do. I think they still do. But it doesn't get used that often because we don't have people trained. And the trained people that we have, it takes a long time to put it up. I mean, it's very labor intensive. That was the problem. It's
Yeah.
very labor intensive.
We're hoping that, we've come a long way with these hydraulics and this setup. We'll find out. We're getting some of my staff and some of his team to get trained and certified.
Everybody said labor intensive and all the heads went down.
I know. I'm not trying to, scare all of his guys, I promise you, but we've been told how much they told us how long it's going to take to set up, and well, again, we'll know more after next week,
I
but.
think the other thing is, I wouldn't expect us to move this stage a lot.
Correct.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect to see that happening. Now, things can always change, and I'm sure there are 1 or 2 different places that Susan is going to need to utilize the stage. But for the most part, I think her main utilization of it is going to be over at the amphitheater.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, for lack of a better term, its home space. But
Well, it's fabulous because I know to rent stages is very expensive. So having this yourself, you don't have that rental fee anymore. And a lot of times the rental fees are a lot more than just buying it.
Oh, sure. So, yeah,
Well, I'm anxious to see it.
yeah, you will. You will for sure.
come on
So
out
we're
and train it.
excited.
Do you serve lunch?
Right, well, I mean,
We
we're
can
going to have
provide
to.
it.
We got these people
We'll
all
work
day.
something out.
Yeah. Yeah, any other questions? No, good questions for me.
What stage will you rent it out?
Where did we rent them out?
Will you rent it?
We haven't discussed it being rented out per se. What we would like to do is be able to support some of the TDA events. It just really depends on the timeline, the location, what events. Several of the TDA events are already at the Commons. So if that's already there, then it might work out. What I do know is we're not going to tote this thing all over the place, you know what I mean? So I think we just have to have some more discussion on logistically what we can handle and what we're able to support.
And it may be set up to where if this, something like the TDA, which is something the city co-sponsors,
Right.
that would be something that if the city's name is on the event, then the stage is then going to be utilized for it. At the end of the day, it won't matter who, whether it's the TDA or the Recreation Department or National Night Out or any other type of thing. The Parks Department, along with the recreation side of the house, will be the ones that have to set the stage up. You know, it won't be somebody else doing it. We wouldn't do that.
And that's for liability.
Yeah.
That's why we're getting certified.
It's our investment, we need to take care of it.
Any other questions? Thank you. And our council report.
No report really, just a big thank you to both Parks and Recreation for all of the work. Christmas is crazy, in and of itself, and then you double down on the amount of things you do, the amount of places you provide services and programs and lights and chocolate and candy canes and smiles and giggles and all kinds of wonderful stuff. So thank you. Please pass along to your entire
Absolutely.
department and all of your staff how much, I, Cindy Edwards, and the rest of City Council really do appreciate how beautiful our city looks, how much fun it is to enjoy the things that are offered, especially during the holidays. They also have Christmas lists and families and their own yards and trees and things. It's just, there's usually a lot going on that time of year. So thank you for the extra sacrifice of time and effort to make it happen for all of us to enjoy. I know my family driving around town grins from ear to ear, and my daughter came home from college and was like, oh, you know, the stuff on 17, that's new. I'm like, I know, it's gorgeous, isn't it? You know, we're trying to stay on the road, but you know. So please pass along a thank you. And a second thank you to our Planning Advisory Board. Mr. Spring, if you would pass along a thank you from me and council to a team that works very hard all year long and does an excellent job of bringing us things that are intelligently prepared and action ready and well thought out and well vetted. Please pass along a thank you to the Planning Committee as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Much appreciated. And that's all. Just saying thanks.
Thank you very much. And then right on to our Planning Advisory Board liaison.
Well, if we don't have any items on the agenda, we don't meet. So we did not meet this past month. But I brought some things from the development review that we get once a month. And just to highlight a couple of things so you know what's out there. These are not things that necessarily come through us, but there's things they make us aware of, like the old, we'll show your age, the old Mammoth Mart. If you know where that is, it's across from Jacksonville High School. Crunch Fitness is going to be part of it, but they're also going to have some shops there next to it. The Wawa on Lejeune Boulevard is going to be where the dry cleaner was. They're tearing I think they've already torn that down.
On the corner there?
On Lejeune Boulevard?
Corbin.
Yeah, Corbin Road. We're going to get another Waffle House.
Where's this one going?
6075 Western Boulevard, which I guess is...
It's Piney Green Inn down
Yeah.
by the Taco Bell in front of Food Line down there.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, and then this one caught my eye because it's Lot 2 YMCA. They submitted a Type 2 plan for a proposed 30,000 square foot aquatic center. So that means that they've gone ahead and submitted the plan for that. And then this was kind of strange because it was a private soccer area on Williamsburg Homeowner Association. It's where they have some soccer fields. They've want to do some improvements to their parking lot, and so that's it.
Well, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions?
I just think that Mr. Spring gets a star or two for referencing Mammoth Mart.
I don't know what that is, but
Old Roses.
It means you've been around a long time.
Yeah.
Mammoth Mart.
Do you remember Brindle's?
That's going back a little bit.
Yeah, Brindle's, yeah, I do.
well, I was deployed.
It was a
This is like early 70s.
Yeah, I'm not from here originally,
Well, he is being refurbished now.
but I did know when he said Crunch. I knew where Crunch was at. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go
Gibbons? Do you
on.
know where Gibbons?
No,
We're going to give you a lesson in history.
I'm going to get a history
Jacksonville.
lesson on Jacksonville.
Later this afternoon.
And I actually have a Jacksonville history book, I do. Okay, our parks report. Scott.
Good evening, everyone. So Woodland Parks, good. Wilson Bay, surprisingly, even in the miserable weather, people are going out there parking and watching the sun go down. For the shelter on Wilson Bay, there's some branches that fell down on top of there, so small stuff, but just might need to be swept off.
Thank you.
Otherwise, everything looks good. And I saw the bathrooms are closed there again due to freezing.
Yes. Thank you.
Reginald?
Rails to Trails, I have not been on there because it's too cold. It's too wet. I thought I'd start with that. Phillips Park is in good shape, and the same usual crowd that uses it is always there. The Commons, the parks are always clean. I see that you, Mr. Mike, you all removed the tree that fell promptly that was across from your
Yeah, the trail.
maintenance facility. Lots of activity before it got seriously cold on the ball fields and on the courts. There are still people on the courts at 2, 3 in the morning. I don't know why or how.
It's dark.
But the lights are on. So there's,
Yeah, there's street lights.
Street lights.
they're playing. And one compliment, the lights you put on the Welcome to Jacksonville sign by Empire, by Moore Buick, look great.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Thanks for noticing.
I have Brook Valley and Northwoods, and I have driven by. It was very cold and muddy, so I didn't get out and look all the way around, but nobody was there when I was there. But they do look, they always look nice and clean, and cold right now, and muddy. But besides that, everything is great. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I want to give a shout out to Steve real quick, because at Northeast Creek, I know he's not here tonight, but if he's watching, he found a little issue on the playground about 2 weeks ago, which, there was an issue with the rubber out there, and he let me know via text message, and we were able to get that remedied in a couple of days, which is awesome. So just remember, if you see something, go ahead and send me a text, call me. It's very helpful. We do have staff in the parks, but they don't see everything all the time, and this is kind of why we do this. Your eyes are very helpful to us, so just let us know.
Lori.
Richard, everything looks really good out there. It always does, since it's kind of a spotlight area. Jack Emiett, the only issue was basketball nets, but I've seen that was a couple weeks ago, but they were already replaced. I do have a couple of questions. One, any update on the 200 acres?
400.
On the 400 acres? Yeah, actually, we're hoping to present, things are moving along behind the scenes. This has definitely been a busy time for the team. We've been meeting with the consultant. Lots of plans have been going in. Lots of details are kind of going into the building concept and the grounds overall. We are planning on doing a presentation to council. I think they're going to have the first crack at it. Not sure if that's going to be next week or not. That's the idea, but I don't know just yet. We're still finalizing some information from the consultant. So as soon as council has first review of it, then everybody will certainly, you guys will all be privy to it. But everything's moving along really nicely, and I think council will be pleased to see the update, kind of see where we've gotten to at this point. But yeah, as soon as either the 4th or the 21st, I believe, are the 2 dates. The goal is something on the 4th, though. So we'll let you know to stay tuned.
There's down Williamsburg Parkway, all the way at the very end. There's been people in and out. I think they're building
a Milestones.
Yeah.
It's like a Milestones
Is that
Academy. It's a school. I think it's like more of a school situation.
This is down the Parkway, so it's private property down there.
Isn't that the Milestones?
I think they're building some type of pump station.
So I don't know if they're building a pump station.
Okay.
What I will tell you is there's been people out there testing soil
Okay.
and things like that. So you could have seen many different things. It could have been anything to do with milestones. It could have been something to do with the pump station, or it could have been some contracted person that our consultants have hired to do some topography work or any of those sorts of things. So I'm not sure how to answer it, but know that it's one of
I know it's not a part of the 400 acres. I do know that.
Oh.
But that's what we were kind of snooping around, if they're going to build more subdivisions that Mr. Spring hasn't told me about back there.
I don't think there's any subdivisions that I know of that have come forward.
I know they're actively building the Milestones, and we've had some people calling us and asking us about that. Other than that, that's the only thing going on. But Michael is correct when he says there have been lots of geotechnical work and lots of consultants on the site doing lots of that sort of work behind the scenes.
Boots on the ground work.
Boots on the ground work. I'm not really sure. We haven't done any infrastructure, so we're not building a pump station. We've not done anything until all of that information comes back and we know what we're dealing with first. So the city isn't building anything actively right now. It's either the consultants or something connected with the Milestones.
Yeah, no, it's not Milestones.
And there's the Biscuitville going on.
It's not Biscuitville. That's at the front. This is all the way up. If you get down by Taco Bell, it's on the very end, all the way down there, at the end down there. So if you were to go through the woods, you would hit Woodlands Park over here to the left, but this is just straight down.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, not sure.
The guy just told me, build a pump station. I was like, are you sure?
Huh.
He just kind of looked at me.
They may be, the city may be doing
Maybe.
that, which, being fair and honest with you, I'm not sure I would know that.
And it could be, but it's not connected to the 400 acres then.
That's why I wasn't
Right.
sure if it was being connected to that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Mr. Ross?
Wooden Park, it was cold.
Seems to be the theme.
The net, the basketball net on the left needs to be replaced. And the commode is it's just a mess. So just,
Men's, women's,
yes, men's,
men's.
yeah. They have put paper and everything in it. I tried to play with it, didn't work, so.
It's
I
a
should've called you.
never-ending,
I should've really-
it's a never-ending challenge we run into, trust me.
I should have called you today, forgot, but I saw it Sunday. I was out there Sunday.
And, I've said this before, I'll say it again, and, we have a belief about vandalism. Our belief is, and this is why I want you to call, because if there ever is vandalism, we believe that the quicker we address repairing it, the less likely they're to come back. The people that do any vandalizing don't seem to have as much ownership if you do it that way. The bathrooms, on the other hand, the only struggle with that we run into is we can go out there, you could call me right now, we could go out there and clean a bathroom up and leave it spick and span, and we can be gone 5 minutes,
Oh, yeah.
and it can look just like that again. And that's the challenge we run into, but that's okay. It's who we are, it's what we do. Most people are good people.
Yeah,
Most people are good.
Water wasn't running or anything like that, or I would have called somebody.
You'd be surprised what people will put in the
Yeah,
commode.
put it, so.
Rocks, all kinds of things.
But the park was in good shape, still wet, like you said, wet. Jerry, there's two guys out there playing basketball. I gave them my respect.
Props.
And Mr. Spring?
One of the nice things about Sherwood Forest and Branchwood is that you've got all that tree cover, and so it tends to hold the snow a little better. So it looks nicer, longer. So it hasn't quite all melted away yet, but unlike my front and backyards, which have. But,
You out there making snow angels, aren't you?
no, I'm not going out in the snow. But other than that, everything else is great.
Thank you. Anybody have questions about the parks? I have one quick question about the fountains. We were replacing all the fountains. Are we going to resume that in the spring?
We'll continue that, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's just,
It's okay.
I'm waiting for the one to show up at one of my places. That's all.
Well, and why you mentioned that, one of the other things we're working towards is new park signs, new signs, and we're going to go a little bit into, when we talk about the split rail fence that are wooden and updating the park and putting that vinyl out there to bring it more up to date to today, one of the things we've looked at with media services who are very good at branding and things like that. We talked with Mr. Ray about this, is we're looking at park signs that are more of, and I'm probably not going to use this term correctly, but more like of a tri-sign, where there's a sign on one side that may say, pick a park, Jack Amiette Park, and then on another sign on that tri would be, these are the amenities within the park. And then there may be another sign, the third sign, that might say, here's a map of the rest of, not just maybe our parks, maybe some important spots in the city as well. So we're when you talk about water fountains and getting those things, one of the other things hopefully you're going to start seeing is us taking another step with our signage. And you'll see that first at Wilson Bay as well as the marina.
Are you talking about the signs that are three-tiered?
No, that actually, usually traditionally you'd have a two-sided sign, something on this side, something on that side. These signs are more like they're tri-signs, I call them.
Triangle.
Literally
Three-sided
three-sided,
signs.
I guess they're three-sided signs, but they're built like a triangle, I guess. Yeah, it's actually, you know, we put a little work into this. We think that's our next step moving forward, hopefully.
That's great.
You'll like it.
Great. I look forward to it. And one city moment.
Yeah, so they're going to queue us up. This is just going to show you a few of our pictures from our winter events. This was part of Winterfest. You know, we had all day. That's all of the snow and the sledding that we worked so hard to put out there. And we have ice skating as part of the event. We have just so much going on. There's the hayride. Yeah, there's the walking path Michael mentioned. And people are using it. It's just so nice down there, for sure. It's just a neat thing. And then this is part of his, you know, talking about the visit with Santa and enjoying the park those 3 days and those 3 evenings. So this is just a little glimpse for those of you who, you know, haven't seen it. But yeah, no, they did a great job. There you go.
That was great. Thank you all. Does anybody have any questions?
I've got just one thing to mention. Had a gentleman that passed away that was on our committee a long time ago, Lauren Jones, well known in the community.
Oh, wow, he was on the Trails and Greenways Committee.
And just think about his family. He
I'm aware.
passed away.
Well said.
Thanks for sharing that, absolutely. I remember Mr. Jones.
Madam Chair, just so you know, for us and the public, today is the 176th birthday of the city of Jacksonville. We were founded in 1849 on this day. So happy birthday, Jacksonville.
Happy birthday, Jacksonville. There's some
Where's my
history
cake?
for you.
Where's my cake?
That's a good question.
We'll call the mayor in the morning. Where's my cake, Sammy?
Does anyone have anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Our next meeting will be March 24th, right here. Thank you all so much, and we are adjourned.
Thank you.